High in the peaceful Green Lotus Mountain stood a small temple surrounded by colorful flowers and tall bamboo trees. Every morning the birds sang sweet songs as the sun painted the sky golden. In this temple lived a cheerful little monk named Tenzin. He was only 5 years old, but everyone in the village loved him. He always greeted people with a bright smile, shared whatever he had, and helped anyone who needed him. Every morning before sunrise, Tenzin swept the temple courtyard, watered the flowers, and placed fresh water for the birds and squirrels. He believed that every living creature deserved kindness. One beautiful morning, while collecting fallen leaves near a giant ancient tree, Tenzin noticed something glowing beneath the grass. "What is that?" he wondered. He gently moved the leaves aside and discovered a tiny golden seed. It sparkled like a tiny star. Tenzin carefully picked it up. The seed felt warm in his little hands, and its golden light danced across his smiling face. Just then, the bushes rustled. Out came an old turtle with a large green shell covered in soft moss. His wise eyes twinkled kindly. "You have found the golden seed," the turtle said gently. Tenzin bowed politely. "What is so special about it?" The turtle smiled. "This is no ordinary seed. It cannot grow with water alone." Tenzin looked surprised. "Then how does it grow?" "It grows with kindness." Tenzin blinked. "Kindness?" "Yes," the turtle replied. "Every selfless good deed becomes food for the seed. But remember, if you help others expecting a reward, the seed will never grow." Tenzin thought quietly for a moment before smiling. "I don't need a reward. Helping others already makes me happy." The turtle nodded proudly. "Then plant the seed beside your temple." Tenzin carefully dug a small hole near his favorite flower garden and gently planted the glowing seed. Every day he watered the soil, but after many days, nothing happened. There was no sprout, no leaf, not even a tiny stem. Still, Tenzin smiled. Maybe it just needs more time. The next morning, while carrying water, he heard a soft cry. A little white rabbit had hurt its foot on a sharp stone. Without thinking about the seed, Tenzin gently cleaned the rabbit's tiny paw, wrapped it with soft cloth, and gave it fresh carrots. The rabbit happily hopped away. That evening, something wonderful happened. The soil above the golden seed shimmered for just a second. Tenzin didn't notice. He had already gone inside the temple, smiling after helping his new little friend. The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight touched the temple garden, Tenzin happily picked up his little watering can and walked toward the place where he had planted the golden seed. He smiled as always. "Good morning, little seed," he whispered as he bent down to water the soil. Something tiny caught his eye. "What is this?" he wondered. A very small golden sprout had pushed its way through the earth. It was no taller than Tenzin's little finger, and the tiny leaves sparkled softly in the morning sunlight. Tenzin's eyes grew wide with joy. "You finally woke up," he laughed. He gently poured water around the sprout, making sure not to splash its delicate leaves. "I knew you would grow one day," he said with a happy smile. Just then, footsteps echoed along the stone path leading to the temple. An old traveler slowly climbed the mountain. His clothes were dusty, his shoulders were tired, and his heavy bag looked difficult to carry. The traveler finally reached the temple gate and sat down on a large stone. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and took a deep breath. "I have walked for many days," he said softly, "but I have no food left." Without thinking twice, Tenzin opened his small cloth bag. Inside was only one simple bowl of warm rice. It was the only meal he had for lunch. Still, he smiled. "Please have mine," he said kindly. The traveler looked surprised. "But then what will you eat, little monk?" Tenzin simply smiled. "I'll be fine." Seeing you happy fills my heart." The old traveler accepted the meal with grateful hands. After finishing every bite, he gently placed his hand on Tenzin's head. "May your kindness bloom like the brightest tree," he said with a peaceful smile. Tenzin bowed respectfully. "Thank you." The travelers continued his journey down the mountain, feeling stronger than before. That evening, while the sky turned shades of orange and pink, something magical happened in the temple garden. The tiny golden sprout slowly stretched upward. A second pair of glowing leaves gently opened. Soft golden sparkles floated into the evening air. But Tenzin didn't notice. Instead, he was inside the temple, quietly thanking the day for giving him another chance to help someone. The next afternoon, dark clouds gathered over the mountains. Strong winds rushed through the bamboo forests. Leaves danced wildly through the air. The tiny golden sprout bent from side to side. "Oh no!" cried Tenzin. He quickly ran into the garden. Using small bamboo sticks and soft pieces of rope, he carefully built a tiny shelter around the young plant. "There," he said gently, "now you'll all be safe." High above, sitting on the branch of an old cherry tree, a beautiful golden bird watched everything in silence. Its feathers shimmered like sunlight. Its bright eyes followed every kind thing Tenzin did. The magical bird chirped one sweet note before spreading its glowing wings. Golden feathers sparkled behind it as it disappeared into the evening sky. Tenzin smiled and waved. "What a beautiful bird," he whispered. That night, under the silver moonlight, another miracle happened. The little golden sprout grew into a healthy young plant with several glowing leaves. Its warm golden light gently spread across the peaceful garden. Inside the temple, Tenzin slept peacefully. He still believed the plant was growing because of water and sunshine. He had no idea every act of kindness was quietly helping the golden seed become stronger. A few days passed and the little golden plant continued to grow. Every morning, Tenzin watered it with love and greeted it with a cheerful smile. "Good morning, my little friend," he would say. Soon, colorful flowers began blooming around the glowing plant. Butterflies danced through the air, and birds sang even sweeter songs than before. The temple garden seemed happier every day. But one afternoon, something unexpected happened. The bright blue sky slowly turned gray. Day after day, not a single drop of rain fell. The small stream near the temple became thinner and thinner until it almost dried up. The flowers began to droop. The grass turned dry. Even the forest animals looked tired and thirsty. Tenzin filled one small wooden bucket with the last clean water from the stream. As he hurried back toward the temple, he looked at the bucket. "This is the only water I have left," he thought. "If I don't water the golden plant today, it may wither." Just then he heard a weak little cry. Near the forest path, a family of tiny birds sat beside their empty nest. Their mouths were open with thirst and they were too weak to fly. Tenzin looked at the bucket, then he looked at the thirsty birds. Without any hesitation, he smiled. "The plant can wait," he whispered. "But these little ones cannot." He gently poured some of the precious water into a small stone bowl. The birds quickly drank every drop. Their happy chirping filled the forest once again. Tenzin continued walking. Soon he met a frightened baby deer standing beside its tired mother. They searched everywhere for water but found none. Tenzin knelt beside them and poured more water into a large leaf. The deer eagerly drank, their eyes shining with relief. Only a little water remained in the bucket now. As Tenzin reached the temple garden, he stopped. The golden plant's leaves were beginning to drop. He held the bucket tightly. "This water could save my plant," he thought quietly. At that moment, a tiny squirrel slowly walked toward him. It was weak with thirst. Its little legs trembled as it tried to stand. Tenzin smiled gently. "My little friend, you need this more than the plant does." He poured the last drops of water into a small wooden bowl. The squirrel happily drank every drop. Now, the bucket was completely empty. Tenzin walked over to the golden plant. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I wanted to help you today." He gently touched one of its tiny leaves, but helping others is always the right thing to do. As the last words left his lips, the ground beneath the plant began to glow. A warm golden light spread through the entire garden. The earth trembled softly. The little plant grew taller and taller. Its branches stretched toward the sky. Golden leaves appeared one after another. Within moments, it had become a magnificent golden tree, shining brighter than the morning sun. Its glowing roots reached deep into the dry earth. Suddenly, fresh water burst from the ground beneath the tree. A clear spring flowed across the forest. The dry grass turned green again. Flowers bloomed everywhere. The birds sang happily. Butterflies filled the sky. Every thirsty animal gathered around the fresh water, drinking joyfully. At that moment, the wise old turtle slowly appeared once more. He smiled proudly at Tenzin. "You have passed the final test?" Tenzin looked surprised. "A test?" The turtle nodded. "The golden seed never needed water to grow. It grew from every kind choice you made, every animal you helped, every meal you shared, every time you chose someone else's happiness before your own. The seed became stronger." Tenzin looked up at the beautiful golden tree. "So, the real treasure was never the tree?" The turtle smiled gently. "No, little one. The greatest treasure is a heart that gives without expecting anything in return." Tenzin folded his hands and bowed with gratitude. From that day on, travelers came from distant lands to rest beneath the golden tree. Its cool shade welcomed everyone. Its clear spring gave water to every thirsty creature, and every golden leaf reminded the world that kindness, patience, and selfless love can grow miracles. Morale: true kindness is never wasted. Every good deed, no matter how small, grows into something beautiful when it comes from a caring heart.